Clubhouse. You guys were already on there. And we are live. We are live. Good afternoon, good evening. Who's hosting today?
Hi, everybody.
We all are.
Awesome. Since it's part two, I guess we all are hosting today. Good evening. Welcome to the Millionaire Ladies Mob Talk. It was so nice. We had to do it twice and come back and talk a little bit more about retirement and what do you need to know, what things you need to be aware of so that you can be prepared for retirement. When should you start? We say at birth, but okay. Those are the things we're going to be talking about. We're continuing Ramen or riches in retirement. And remember, it's only if we're only saying Ramen if you have a choice. You may have Ramen as long as you choose to have Ramen. We don't want it where you get to retirement stage and realize that you can only have Ramen and nothing else. So welcome, welcome. We're glad that you're here with us. We're going to go ahead and get Clubhouse on with us. And let's go ahead and introduce ourselves, ladies, while I get us on.
Okay, I'll go first. I missed last week. I apologize. I was out of town and time got by me. My name is Aaliyah Sherrod. I am in beautiful Southern California. It's still light out here. I am the healthcare queen. I do all things healthcare, medical, major medical, short-term, home care, long-term care, anything that you need related to healthcare. Just look me up. Aaliyah10k.com. And again, my name is Aaliyah Sherrod, and I'm here to serve you and help you and make sure that your family gets the best care that's available.
Awesome.
I am Shalonda Kaiser Mitchell. I am the money queen. I'm so jealous of Leah because I would love to be in sunny California right now. I talk everything money. I am a financial counselor and here to help you with your finances. I can be reached at ShalondaKaiserMitchell.com and on social media platforms at Shalonda Kaiser Mitchell.
Awesome. Awesome.
I guess it's me. Hi, it's me. It's your girl, Saran. I am your debt elimination queen. I talk all things debt elimination, including student loans, where we can get you out of debt in 9 years or less. I also help build legacies that you cannot outlive, retirement plans, you name it. But most of all, I like to start the dirty talk when we start talking about money. Let's get real down and dirty with it and talk about that stuff we don't always talk about when we talk about our money. But you can reach me at Saran10K. It links to everywhere you can find me, including where we start, where these, all four of these ladies, and they haven't mentioned it, we also coach other women on coming into our financial industry to help them be able to help their friends and family with their finances and increase their finances by becoming business owners. So I hand it back over to Carmen.
Hey, thank you, thank you, thank you. Welcome, ladies. And I am Carmen K. Bernard. You can reach me at carmen10k.com. I help families to protect their income, eliminate debt, create an income stream that they cannot outlive during retirement, and create a legacy of generational wealth. And so we're going to go back and touch upon what we were talking about last week. We had a lot of stir. A lot of people reached out to us. They said it was great. They want to know more. They loved the information, and not enough people are talking about it. We spend months planning vacations. We spend months planning parties. We spend months planning our girlfriends' getaways. And we do not put as much time into planning our retirement. It's as if we think it's just going to happen naturally, as if it's just, we're just going to flow into it. And what has happened with some people that came before us is that they were in for a shock. They were like, why didn't anybody tell me? that Social Security was not going to be enough? Why didn't anybody tell me that Social Security was taxed? Why didn't anybody tell me that Medicare I still had to pay? I worked all my life. What is this? Why didn't anybody tell me that I needed to also be saving for myself? Why didn't anybody tell me that inflation was going to mess with the amount of money that I have put away for retirement? Why didn't anybody tell me these things? So we are here to talk about it. As Saran said, we're going to get down and dirty when it comes to all the dirty little secrets about retirement. You know what? Maybe the older people, first of all, our grandparents, they didn't have these kind of problems. They worked one job for 40 years, and then that job took care of them for the rest of their lives. They didn't have these problems, right?
Carmen, you are so right. You are right. When I was growing up, they had those, everybody had a really good job, a factory job or whatever it was, and they got really good money. And that company had a retirement plan for them so that
Pension
when they
plans.
did retire, they were able to live okay, not like they did before they retired, but they had a retirement. And then during my working years, I believe that stopped. And so what we need to do, I wasn't thinking about what am I going to do in retirement at 30. I
Oh,
mean, I just wasn't, and so we have to educate and we have to get the word out. When is Social Security going to run out? Somebody needs to look that up because we know the answer. But do you? Are you going to depend on Social Security for yourself? Think about it. It may not be good.
Aaliyah, let me say this. I'm gonna jump in here because listen here. Any of us, and we represent a couple different generations in our quad here, right? But anyone living today that plans to retire, that thinks that, and I don't really know anybody like this, but that thinks that the Social Security is going to take care of them is sadly mistaken. That's number one. Number two, the thing is when we start to look at, the law of averages, if we look at 100 people, most of those people going into retirement will be dependent on the government, will be dependent on charities, will be dependent on their family, and may just plain old run out of money. Or, the alternative is they may already be dead when it comes to retirement, right? And that's, that's how the pie slices, if you will. But the thing is that when you don't know, if you don't know where you're going to end up, the only one of those that you can't control is whether you're going to be living or not, right? The rest of them you can plan for. The rest of them we can put together. It used to be the three-legged stool of retirement, but I think we talked about last week. We need four legs on that chair so we can be stable,
Maybe
and
five.
so we don't have to be, and this is no insult to someone who is doing it or has to do it as a living, but I know for me, I don't want to work in retirement and have to be the greeter at Walmart or the greeter at some retail establishment if those jobs still exist 20 years from now, right? And I say that because a lot of the jobs that people are doing now are going away. They won't be real jobs. You go to CVS now, and not to call anybody out, you go to any pharmacy, right, to get something. There's a register with a person, and there's also self checkout. How long do you think it's going to be before it's just self checkout? That
wow.
means there's no job.
Exactly. Exactly.
So those little, retirement jobs that people used to be able to do to make ends meet, to fill in those gaps, they may not exist. But what you can do right now, if you're living, breathing, and working, is come up with a plan. And just remember, $50 every 2 weeks, while that's a good start, is not going to get you the couple of $1 million that you really need for retirement. Because guess what? With all the health advances, with all the medicine, with all the healthy living that many of us are doing, changing our eating habits, drinking more water, walking, exercising, more fruits and vegetables, we're living longer in retirement. 30 to 40 years, which is different than, like Aaliyah was saying, her generation. their jobs could take care of them because those folks weren't living for 20 or 30 or 40 years after retirement. They were living 10, maybe 20 years. And now we're living double the time. So guess what we need? We need a lot of cha-ching. We need that cream. We need that, as one of my rap groups used to say from New York, we need that cream, that cash rules everything around me.
Thank
We need cream to make sure that we can move forward.
dollar bills, y'all.
I'm just saying, yeah, that's my generation. So, I'm gonna quote it.
Dollar bills, yo. But you know what you just said, that, and I'm gonna touch on that just so it hits home, right? Social Security, to me, it was a setup for real. That's the reason why, and they keep extending the time that you can even get it, right? At first, you could have gotten it right at age 65, but people like me, I have to wait until I'm 67, and then the younger ones coming after me gonna have to wait even longer. But the way when Social Security was set up, it was not set up to be paying people for so many years, like you said, because we're living so much longer. When it was set up, the average age for men, I think, was 68 and women 72 or something. Whatever it was way less than it is now. So you did not collect that much money. Here's the other thing that wasn't planned upon. The group that I'm from, the baby boomers. I'm the last year of the baby boomers. No one planned for the darn baby boomers, because when the people came back from the war and they had missed all their honeys, and then they decided to get some honeys, here comes us, the bunnies, the babies or whatever. And we take up so much more. Before we entered retirement, before the baby boomers entered retirement, there were 4 people putting in money for one person that was drawing money, right? Now there's 10 people pulling out for like the 4 or 3 or 4 that's putting in, because of the baby boomer generation. And like my generation is going to end. My year, that's the last year of the baby boomers. We have another, 7 or 8 years before we enter retirement. But it's a while before we'll be able to see any relief for that. It's a while, because of so many of us are pulling that, and then so many of us are living longer. I mean, look at me. Can you believe I'm almost 60? No. But that's what's happening. We're living longer. We're even looking better, but we're living longer, and that's putting a big strain on that. So with that being said, what are some things that we want to touch? Last week we talked about people needing to know exactly what they will need in retirement, understanding what they're earning now, and knowing exactly what they will need in retirement, and understanding that even what you decide upon may not be enough because of some outside influences, things like that we cannot control, like inflation, and things like, depending on where we're getting any additional dollars, our Social Security can be taxed all the way up to 85%. They can't tax anymore, or they can make the laws change. But right now, it's up to 85% of our income in retirement. Social Security can be subject to taxes. And so, with knowing all of these things, what do you say? Shalonda, you haven't spoken yet. What do you say are some things, other than what we talked about last week? We said start early, be consistent, use things that are already there for you. What else should we be looking at?
That's why it's important early, like you said, to start early, but that's why it's important to speak with a professional, because when you speak with a professional, they're going to take you through the retirement stages. So the first stage in preparing for retirement would be knowing not just knowing what you want in retirement, but knowing what you need and having an actual calculation. You sometimes may not know all the tools that are out there to figure it out, but a professional can. So when I sit down with someone to create a retirement plan for them, the first thing that we do is I look at their budget from now, all of their expenses from now, and we calculate when everything will be paid off per se.
Mm.
Your house will be paid off. Because one of the things that you want to take into consideration are that you don't want to go into debt or go into retirement, with major debt. So the first thing you need to do is seek help from someone so that they can take you through those stages. Those stages being looking over your current budget, which would mean that you would have to be consistently keeping a budget, but looking over your current budget to see what you have going out, calculating how much money you're going to need, not want, how much money you're going to need, because we're creating a strategy here. You're calculating how much you're going to need based off of what your expenses are going to be. So if you bought a home late and you took out a 30-year mortgage and you're already 50 years old, then you're going to be paying on that mortgage throughout retirement. So you can do one of two
several times.
So you can do one of two things with your professional. That professional can then help you to develop a plan to pay off that home faster so that you can have all of your monies that you're going to have in retirement, or prepare you for continuing to pay that out during retirement. Then you want to make sure that you know that they calculate how much you're going to need. And the way they'll do that is they'll take what you have, they'll gather up all other avenues of retirement funds. So they'll gather up all other accounts, how much you're going to get from Social Security based off of your SSA.gov account, any IRAs that you may have, any 401ks, any TSPs. They'll calculate your net worth basically and your assets to see what you have. They'll also take into consideration at that time a new budget. So what your budget is going to look like in retirement. It's called a retirement budget. And of course, it's a forecast because you're planning for that. And that budget should look like whatever of those expenses that are going to be left and some. So if you have grandchildren expenses that are your responsibility, that you've taken on, just whatever those expenses look like.
Right.
And then what's important is to make sure that you stick to the plan.
That's the key.
Because it's no good to waste anyone's time, yourself included, with the plan if you're just going to throw it out the window and not pay attention to it. You have to take your retirement seriously. I've worked for Social Security. I've been on the other end of the phone to where I've had people calling into me crying for various situations. Some situations being that it's not that it wasn't enough, they just weren't prepared for it and wish that they could have put in more. Because you can't put into more Social Security. That's the number one question that you get when you work at Social Security. Well, can I just pay more into it? No, you have that opportunity. You can't pay into it now.
So I want to play devil's advocate for a little bit. And one of the things that you said, one of the biggest
not about Social Security, because I don't. My views on Social Security are completely different than a lot of people.
No.
I like it. Let's talk about it.
What I want to say is, you said to seek a professional. Okay, and many of us go to professionals where we hear, oh, this is what you're going to need. So you need to come up with more money. Put in more money, put in more money, put in more money. Why should they talk to people like us? And I'm going to kick that over to Saran. Why is it not just invest more in the stock market? What else? Why? Tell me why. Because that's what people will, we are all licensed insurance agents. What gives us the right to talk about this why should people come talk to us?
Well, I'm
I'm
actually a financial planner and
Two,
insurance agent. So,
two.
uh, I understand that you are a financial planner, okay? But I want to know, why should, you're also an insurance agent? Why should somebody talk to you about retirement? I'm gonna kick that over to Saranda. Go ahead.
So here's the thing. The reason you should talk to a professional about your retirement is we go out and we bust our humps to make all this money. We have jobs, we have businesses, we have real estate, we have commercial stuff, we have stocks, we have all these things. But the last thing we think to do is to protect all of that. Why is that the last thing we think of? When we got full-time income if we work in government, professional, corporate, contracting, whatever, right? We got a business, we running a side business, or a passion business. I like to call it a passion project. Then we have real estate. We have more than one property where we have rental units, or we got Airbnbs, or we got commercial properties, you name it, right? And then on top of that, and then maybe we're consulting, we're doing all these things. We've created the five streams of income, let's say, right? But none of it's protected. If something happened to you tomorrow, you don't have any money. You don't have a big plan that will keep a health issue from absorbing all your money, right? And we can go down to statistics, because I like to talk about statistics. When if you say to me 1 in 3 women will have breast cancer, then that means you should probably protect yourself, right?
Yeah.
Or, in the African American community, this is the thing I run into a lot. Things that jumped up on them, heart that people having strokes, heart attacks, or the less fatal ones, the high blood pressure, the diabetes, and what's the other one? I can't think of it. But these things that somehow jump up on us because we're genetically inclined to have them, but we don't have any plan for those things. And those things are the things that can take us out. But if I ask those same people, do they have insurance on their iPhone or their Android, their Samsung, whatever those things are that people use? I don't use one. But if they have one on those, I bet you they got the little policy from their carrier for those phones to protect them if the screen cracks or something like that. We have to have car insurance because it's by law. You have to protect the vehicle and the other drivers on the road. But by law, we don't have to protect the one thing that is most important to us, which is us. We're the asset, you
Yeah.
know. And I talk about this all the time. Let's talk about the human life value. We don't want to talk about that because of slavery and slave masters and how they calculated things for us. But let's just get real. If you make $100,000 a year and you're gonna work 30 to 40 years, you're worth $3 or $4 million. Period. It's gonna go through your bank account. But we don't want to own it. But the only and the on the flip side, the only people who do own it are the people who sell you things. The people who are selling you stuff on Facebook, who are selling you stuff on YouTube, who are selling you stuff on Twitter and Instagram. They recognize your value, but you don't.
Exactly.
The car people recognize it. The mortgage company recognizes it. I could keep going on. The hairdressers recognize it. Everybody recognizes it, but the actual person who is the asset. And if you say to me, I don't make $100,000 a year, Saran, I only make 50. Well, you still worth at least $2 million
There you go.
Mhm. Yeah.
for
Your
your working
buying
years.
power.
You are worth. I mean, and if you make $25,000 a year, you still worth at least $1 million. So come on, come with me. We can go down this street all day. But the reason you should be talking to a financial professional is because at the end of the day, and I'll just take these four beautiful ladies that I get to be with every week, is we're talking to hundreds of people throughout the year and through, all the time through webinars, lives, YouTubes, face-to-face meetings, you name it. We're talking to people and we're dealing and we see way more examples. And it boils down to this. Do you want to go to the doctor who's only had one patient, who only knows one thing, who only knows about themselves? Or do you want to go to the person who's seen thousands of people, who's helped thousands of people, and has a lot of case studies and has a lot of practice, right? We go to the doctor and they're practicing. But we have to really think about it. And it goes back to my example that I always use is my trainer has a trainer. My physical trainer has a trainer. Your doctor has a doctor. Your dentist has a dentist. Right? The only thing I can really think of, maybe mechanics don't have mechanics. I don't know. Maybe it gets a little advanced for them. You can figure it out, right? But as a financial person, I have a financial person I go and work with because sometimes you can't see the trees for the forest. you know, if that saying makes sense. But that's why you should really, really look at it and talk to someone because we could get our heads in the clouds and maybe we started saving up for retirement and we got to 100,000 or 200,000 and then we saw
And we
something
think
really
that's enough.
shiny. We saw something really shiny and we went and bought it. Now you're starting over because you don't understand the power of compound interest. If I talk to one more person who is highly educated and super smart and doing amazing things in their career, and I say, hey, do you understand the rule of 72? Do you understand how compound interest works? And they'll look at you like, I will have no idea what that is.
Right, and not only that, it's not even not only do they understand how the rule of 72, they might understand it intellectually, but not apply it to their own lives. The
That's
thing
right.
about it is that when you speak to that intellectual person, that intelligent person, and they tell you, I don't do that. I spend I do all cash in my thing. I just spend cash, right? And you are no different from the person who does that just like that. There's something else. There's a third part of that pie that you have to be talking about. And that's why I brought up the fact, like, because there's many people go when they dismiss us. Oh, I have a financial planner. Half of these financial planners do not even understand what we talk about, do not even know that these tools even exist, doesn't even understand it, right? Miss Shalonda has you have a better purview of the whole thing because you can see you have a whole overall thing, but most of these people are segmented, and all they want to tell you about is I'm gonna tell you how you can make more money, how you can they don't talk much about the risk that they have to take. They tell you don't worry about that. The length of time that you're going to be in the market or whatever will take up for that. But that's all they worry about. But as we have been talking today, there's so much other things because that money can be eradicated in a minute by a very serious illness, right? They're not talking about how you can actually still plan for retirement without any risk. And the studies have showed that going back when you look at it, there's not very much difference that somebody that does this one way, if you do it over here this other way, that it's that you are going to come out on uh the low end of the stick or the short end of the stick, because we are, like what Saran said, protecting that asset, not just for income that's coming in. You, first of all, you're a money machine, and if you had a money machine in your basement, you would make sure that you protect it. You would make sure that you oil it every day. You'd make sure that you crank it. You'd make sure that something was there. If this money machine breaks, that it will continue to spit out money every day. Well, guess what? You are that money machine.
I never thought about that being the money machine.
You are that money machine.
Yeah, yeah.
That money machine needs to be protected because
Yeah.
when it's broken, when you are broken, then what? Bills keep coming, everything keeps coming, but that you don't have any more money coming in.
Right.
And that's what we show you to do. We show you not only how to protect that income, we show you how to use that same money, that same dollar, to not only protect that income, but to protect yourself from serious, major, chronic, critical illnesses, and to use it for educational funds and to use it for emergency funds. We show you how to do that. And I'm going to tell you, your average run of the mill financial planner is not going to show you that. Now you can go to Shalonda because she's going to be able to show you that. But most of them are not going to be able to show you that.
Carmen, let me tell you why. So I first became a financial counselor before I became a life insurance agent. When you do something, no matter what you do, you should always believe in your product. If I try to offer something to someone and I don't believe in what I'm offering them, that says a couple things. It says that I don't have product knowledge about it. I haven't studied it enough. And I'm just trying to make a sale. I'm just trying to make money. When you get into financial counseling, you're not going to make any money if you're not doing it for the person that you're helping. The same with life insurance. But I found that I got to a point to where with retirement plans, you pretty much have one product, one product fits several different people in ranges. If it's a 401 or 401k plan, somebody my age that works at the same company that I work for, they may very well be in the same fund that I'm in, right? Life insurance is different. Life insurance is customized for that person. So whereas a 401k plan might work for one person, they may also need a LERP. The reason being, there are things that 401k can't do that a LERP can do.
And talk a little bit about that.
What's a LERP?
First of all, what is a LERP? There you go.
But it's about education. So when I get to someone and they've never heard of using life insurance as a retirement plan, I say, well, let me show you this. This is so cool. Not to dismiss their 401k plan or not to dismiss their TSP, because don't get me wrong, there are some great strategies out there in that way. I have a couple of all of them. The thing is, it's our job. I take it on myself. I have a board and I have people's name on it that I mark off because I make it a habit for myself to educate the masses, because what you don't know, you can't learn from. You can't use what you don't know. I was in a meeting with 5 investment advisors this week. And only one of them knew what a life insurance retirement plan was.
Wow.
Do you know how many of them are on my calendar now?
There you go.
And they're financial advisors.
There you go.
It's not their fault that they don't know. It's our fault because we're not getting to them fast enough. I like to pride myself on having a good close rate, meaning when I tell somebody about the wonderful services that we offer, they're all in because they're great products. But it's about you getting to them, educating them. And the good thing about the life insurance retirement plans are that they don't have the downsides. I like to say you get all of the great benefits of retirement plus some, because it's not just stuck on retirement. You can use it as your own bank, meaning if you want to make a purchase, like my office is lovely, right? I want to add some things to my office. If I want to add those things, instead of going down here to Chase and saying, hey, Chase, can I borrow some of your money? I can just pull it out of my own fund.
Stop. What could Chase tell you when you go to borrow your money? What is Chase going to say? Are they just going to give you that money?
No.
Well, for me, they are, but
No
question.
But no, I'm going to have to go through some paperwork. It's going to take some time, not to say I don't want to put any false hope out there, not to say that you won't have to, call the insurance company and make that happen. However, I'm going to get my money. When they say you want to do something, do it yourself.
Are they going to check do they check your credit at your bank?
They do. They
check to see if you have a job at your bank?
They
can you
do.
Pay back?
They do.
Do they
and you know what I like the most? COVID taught people that they can go out here and they can make things happen on their own without having a W-2, right? Until you need to go to the bank and get some money.
That's
They're
right.
going to be like, oh no, you're self employed. Oh, you had a write off on your taxes. You wrote off $26,000 from your taxes. That goes against you when you're going to the bank to get something and you're an entrepreneur.
Girl, talk that talk.
That's why
Talk.
you need your own bank, because I don't have to go and ask any of them. And let me tell you this might be a secret. It might not be a secret. It doesn't matter. I have E&O insurance. I'm good. If you want to hide some things from your credit to boost that credit score, pay it off with your life insurance policy.
Man,
It's not going to be on your credit score anymore.
that was fire right there. Listen.
And get that credit score up, and then
Get
go
that
get some
credit
more
score
And
up.
OPM
then
and make it work.
go back to that same bank teller that told you no and show her your new credit score. But
Yeah.
I don't suggest doing that because the interest rates are going to be nothing compared to what you can get with your life insurance policy.
There you
I
go.
really can't find any reason to go get a loan from a bank anymore now that I'm thinking about
Is
it.
there really? Is there really, if you can be your own bank? So how do you get to create the terms by which you pay it back when you go to your local bank?
No, you
Oh,
don't.
no.
No, you don't.
No.
They tell you, they tell
terms.
you
And you
what
better
they
not
want,
miss a payment.
and you better not miss the payment because they'll come and
Which,
get your home.
but I want to
Listen,
go back to something that you said, Shalonda, and I want to bring this home. You said the difference with the financial planners and people who are licensed life insurance agents like us, and one of the things you said is, and I'm going to use the words that we've heard before, is they're not eating their own cooking, if you will. So there's a difference between believing that something is going to happen, believing that the product that you're advising people to use is going to work, and knowing that it works, right? I gave somebody the example the other day. They're like, "What do you mean?" I know, I believe, and I say, "Your belief means nothing. Tell me what you know." And they're like, "What's the difference?" I'm like, "We could sit in this house and believe that it's cold outside." But the person that's outside will be able to tell you if it's cold because they know it's cold. There's a huge difference between what you believe and what you know. I don't want to hear from people who have all these beliefs. Tell me what you know, because what you know is what I need, not this belief. Oh, I believe that this is going to work. I believe. Oh, just keep believing. But I want to get with the people who know, because you know who knows? The people who are actually using these products, the communities that are using these products for wealth building. And
That's
I
why
talk
they keep
about this
using
because
it.
I talk about the books and stuff that we read, that I've read, and it's in these books. It's hidden in a book. It's a little known secret hidden in the book that you can buy on the internet from the jungle of books. You know what it's called. You're from the jungle of books, or you can get it at your local library, or you can get it online, and some of them you can get for free on YouTube, which is where we're live right now. They'll stream it for you, and then it's going to tell you. It's a stack of books that are going to tell you how these things work. But so many of us are so busy listening to some of these personalities who don't look like us, who don't have our money issues, who don't have our family history, who don't have the piece of the pie that we working with. And they tell you you don't need this and you don't need that. And then we're turning around, and I've got people coming to me 60 years old, can't get life insurance
there
now.
you go.
Right.
There you go.
Can't get nothing that's reasonable, can't leave no inheritance to nobody, can barely get enough to get put in the ground, if you will, if that's their choice, or put in a pine box, as they used to say back in the day. Can't even get none of that because somebody, you listen to somebody who told you you don't need this, but this person didn't sit down and look at your finances. They didn't look at your individual situation. They didn't understand what your goals were. They didn't understand what you were trying to do. But you listened to this fly by night conversation that just happened to pass by on something, or you read a newspaper article, and bam, you took advice without even realizing you took advice, and you never even did a full review. And I understand it's intimidating for somebody who sends you a data form and says, "Tell me where your money is." But guess what? That's someone who's going to take the time to analyze where you are. But we're just looking at the YouTube videos, or nowadays the reels or whatever, and taking that as the full advice. And this person knows nothing about your situation. that makes it really challenging. And you're going out making decisions with limited information and limited education on a 30-second reel or 30-second video, or even, and I'll use us, even this 1 hour conversation that we're having right now. You
Exactly.
really can't make decisions on it. This is for informational purposes to get you to sit down with someone to do a full review. There's us four. We got a whole team of people that we work with. If you don't
And
like
that's
us,
the thing.
yeah,
That's key. What you said right there. This is informational only, and it's designed to get you to sit down with someone to go over your
absolutely.
Your
conversation. 'Cause let me
specific.
tell you what I hear every day. Well, I watched on TV, and I'm not going to say any names because I don't make enough money yet to be sued, but I watched
If
Me
it's
either.
true, you're okay. If
Me
it's
either.
true, you're okay.
I watched on TV where someone told me, and when he told you, he told everyone else in the world to buy term and invest the rest.
That was a slogan. That's a
It's still
slogan.
a slogan.
That's what they told you to do. But let me tell you something, friend. They weren't talking to you specifically who are 40 years old, have decent income, have good health. They weren't talking to you, right? They also didn't tell you, why you buying term and investing the rest, that portion that you're investing, you middle class people, that we are living paycheck to paycheck and can't even afford to lose a little bit of money, that money that you're putting there in that investment, you could lose some. That's why you need to sit down with someone and see what's best for you, because my mom always told me, you're not Susie. You can't do what Susie does. You need to do what Shay does. And
That's
this
correct.
is what's best for Shay. You can't follow the masses on everything. Everything is not for you. That man made millions of dollars off of that program and that slogan, and he doesn't even have the credentials to back it up.
Not one.
And Shalonda, remember,
And, and
listen,
half of it's wrong.
that's right. And listen, you do that, you buy term and invest the difference for 30 years. You're
There you
30.
go.
Now
There you
you're
go.
60. Guess what? You're diabetic. You had a heart attack. You have this, you have that. Now you can't get any insurance.
No, but if you
Oh,
call
wait,
that
the
same
catch.
man,
They
if you
didn't
call
invest
that
the rest.
same man that
That's the
told
catch
you to
right
buy
there, 'cause
term
they
and
didn't
invest the
invest it.
rest, he's at that age, he's going to say, well, then you should have made money and stuck money aside by now.
Mm-hmm.
And
Now
see,
you're going to come and see me for me to give you a burial plan.
Yep.
right. And see, here's the thing right there with that, right? The invest in the rest, right? That, as Shalonda said earlier, he is not talking to you. All right. You who's our each generation always kept starting over. He's not talking to you.
Right.
We don't, because the whole point of in buying term and invest in the rest is that the rest should have grown to something that should be able to take care of you for the rest of your life.
Right.
All right. Most
Right.
of the times that doesn't happen, but it's only taking care of you. So your next generation, they got to start over again because you're not thinking long term. That's not for you. We need to stop.
Or he's counting on them to die during that term.
I guess.
Well,
But
no,
we
here's the
need-
thing.
Listen, 2% of term policies pay out, guys.
Yep.
2%. It's
Yep.
a great product to have because some insurance is better than no insurance. Even insurance that you have to die to use is better than none. But let me tell you something. Most term policies do not pay out. Guess what a whole life policy does? It's
Pays
for your whole life. It's guaranteed to do what it says it will do. Guaranteed. What did Saran say? You know?
Aaron,
We don't
do you
believe
know?
it
Do you
payout.
believe or do you know? And
We
here's what I
know.
know.
It's going to pay out as long as you keep paying your premiums or for the stipulated time you said you were going to pay. Because guess what, guys? A whole life doesn't mean you have to pay for your whole life. You
Right.
can have it structured where you've paid for 20 years, where you paid for 10 years, where you stop when you retire because you don't want to put out any more money and you don't want to bring that back in. I get too excited and animated when we're
Girl.
I
talking about
know.
this stuff.
Listen,
Woo!
and I want
I
to
get
say
crazy.
this because I want to make sure we don't miss this, right? Because the slogan was buy term and invest the rest. Well, really what happens is people buy term and spend the rest.
That's
Amen.
right.
And because they spend the rest, then there's no that money that was supposed to be built up because they really only hear half of it, right? And they only do half of it. And again, this is nothing against a term policy. I have one in addition to all the other things that I have
As you should. As
strategically
you
for a
should.
reason, right? But the thing is that you really have to know what it is, what your goals are. I know I can sit down. I know my plan is I know I want to do a certain amount of things for this time period which I'll be living. I know there are things that I want to have set up and set in place for when I'm not here, right? And all those things have a strategic plan. I know I'm going to live a good life. I'm going to travel like there's no traveling left to be done in the world. And I'm going to spend my money the way I want to and live. But I also already have my plan set aside where all these other things will be set up for me and whom and my family the way I want it to be set up. But the thing is that invest the rest. That's the piece. So you say invest the rest, and the devil is in the details. What's the details on that invest the rest? And
Right.
I'm not one that's necessarily cares whether you're risk averse or you're fine with risk. I mean, at the end of the day, you could be neutral about it. You could say, you know what, I'm up today, I'm down today as far as money, but I still feel the same because this is just it's what I do, it's how I
Right.
move. And that's cool because like Shalonda said one other meeting, it's just money, go make some more. Right. And one of my good friends I was just talking to about an hour ago, he always says, you're a man, go make some more money if
Right.
you need some, or if you're a woman, and it goes like this is if money is man-made and you're a man, then go make some more.
Let
Right.
me
Or
tell you a quick story
and that's
about that,
that.
Fran. Let me tell you a quick story. So today I was talking to a disaster client, and she called me. She's 70 years old. No,
Mm,
excuse me. She's 69. She's 69 years old. She used to work for a very well-known bank.
mm.
She was an executive with this bank.
Mm,
Um, she did everything right in life. Um, she made a lot of money, decent money with the bank. The bank did have a pension plan because she was with that bank for a long time. However, when they came out with the 401ks in the 80s,
mm,
they migrated their pension plan over to the 401ks, and they did
Bad
well by
choice.
them. What they did was they took lump sum from their pension plan and put it into their 401k. So she looked like she was going to be set. She even worked
mm,
a lot longer because she thought she would. Fast forward to later in life, she had to divorce her husband.
Oh wow.
mhm,
She was the breadwinner, right? She lost a lot of money in that divorce. She ended up using some of the money from her retirement plan to catch up with some of the debts that she had because of the divorce. Keep fast forwarding to later in life, she became slightly ill, but not ill enough to die. I know it sounds harsh. I'm a life
mhm,
insurance agent. It just is what it is.
mhm,
Slightly ill, not ill enough to die, right? She now is flat broke,
oh my God.
calling me for help with her credit because she 20 years ago is when she divorced her husband, and she still has not repaired her credit.
Wow.
Took 3 losses in her 401k fund. Mind you, she had a big boost in her 401k because they migrated a lot of her pension plan over to it.
Mhm,
And now it's my job to help get her somewhere comfortable because her kids are all grown, they have
mm.
their own lives, and now she needs assisted living or long-term care.
My goodness.
Wow.
My
Let me
goodness.
tell you what I told her, and I am a financial planner, right? So all of my 401k strategies and all that, we didn't even talk about that. Let me tell you what I told her. I wish I would have met you years ago, because I would have offered you a life insurance retirement plan.
Talk
It,
that talk.
it would have not only protected your money that you put into it during your divorce, he wouldn't have been able to get that. It's protected. You would have been able to migrate that money that you put in your 401k over into a similar pension plan, or you could have dumped money into it instead of migrating it in there. And then you would have protected that because you would not have loss. And guess what? You could have possibly qualified for a long-term care rider. So you would have the needs that you need right now, as well as living benefits since you got very sick but did not die.
Wow.
I'm telling you guys, one product, one
One product.
service would have changed that woman's entire life. She cried on the phone because I could not offer it to her.
So you need to look before you
lerp.
Not just look before you.
That's a book, girl. That's a book.
It is
Look,
a
I
book.
know
you
that's
can't
a
be
book.
quoting these books. We ain't getting no affiliate marketing money.
I know, right? That's why
what
you
I'm
should have
reading
said
right
what it
now.
was. Don't be telling them. I have that
That's
one
the laser
too.
fun. I have
Well,
that
let
one
me
too.
tell you.
Because it has the side for the right brain, like for people like me that need pictures and stuff, and then it has the side for the left brain for those tech people.
Yeah, I need the pictures, and then sometimes I need the tech. I switch between the two.
But I really wanted
Depending
to
on-
tell you all that story because on someone like Carmen said, "Hey, Carmen, we're sisters for real." For
Mhm.
someone like, excuse me, like what Carmen said, I see the big picture.
Right.
And in that woman's situation, had she have sat down with someone other than an advisor at the bank that she worked at the time, she could have got the best of both worlds. Because this stuff that we're talking to you about, excuse me,
It's not brand new.
No, it's
Brand
not.
new.
Mm-mm.
She could have
Actually,
helped us back then.
you know what? You can tell that we are very passionate about these subjects because
Because I'm sitting here dying. Yeah.
right, and right now we really need to take responsibility. Those of us that have children and grandchildren, so we can take responsibility and make sure that they have enough in their retirement. And
Yes.
that's what we do. I talk to kids and not the kids, but the parents. I'm a grandparent. So you guys have helped me to design for my granddaughter, and I have a new grandson. So now it's my job to get that started because that's my legacy, though that's my family. We
Mhm.
have a responsibility to our community to get the word out about retirement. With inflation, we had no idea gas would double. I pay $5.69 a gallon for gas. Last year it was 2 something. We had no idea that was going to happen. So we have to plan for a little bit of that. But Shalonda, I see your passion. It looks like I could cry some of the stories that I hear.
Right. Right.
Literally, it brings tears to my eyes.
You want to know something else that I want to point out right now, okay? And that is about the term. Now we represent a myriad of life insurance companies up here, like
Mhm.
a lot, okay? But we want to let you know that we have access to life insurance policies that allows you to start with a term because that's what you can afford. That's what you can do right now. But what is great about that term that we are going to put you in, if at all possible, is that you're going to be able to convert that term as you go along. So
Mhm.
now you have already qualified for that life insurance policy based on your health. Now you are going to qualify based on that same health later on, even if you've been diagnosed with cancer, even if, as Saran said, diabetes jumped up on you.
Jump up on you, girl. That stuff just
Jump
be jumping
on
out of nowhere.
Even if heart disease and cancer and kidney problems jumped up on you. Like my mom said, the one day I was talking to her and she was like, what did she say? She was something like, we didn't have this diabetes, something. I was like, Mommy, you're not born with this, this is something that happens as a result of eating and environment and whatever else. But sometimes my aunt, God rest the dead, as we say, she used to say, I don't want to catch that Alzheimer's. She said, I don't want to catch it. I'm like, you cannot catch it. She didn't
Well,
care.
that's
She
another
didn't,
story we can talk about. That's about environment. Some of that, when you
but
start
you can catch it
peeling
from
back
the
the onion,
environment, right?
it's about what we're eating. Is what they was putting
Right.
in those in that food and those
Right.
beverages and the things that our family were consuming heavily that impacted their brain. So
Red
You're
don't get
right.
me,
food.
You're right about that.
don't get me on it.
No, but my aunt didn't want to go next to someone who had it so that she wouldn't catch it.
Oh my
And
goodness.
but so what I'm trying to say is that we can give you something for pennies, really, really pennies on the dollar, that helps to protect your insurability so that no matter what happened to you later on, what you have, you can now keep for the rest of your life,
Hmm.
right? So one of the things is go big. If you can qualify for that $3 million policy, go ahead and qualify for that $3 million policy and pay that $100 a month or whatever. Because if later on you now became disabled, you got diagnosed with something and no insurance company would let you have insurance, guess what? You can keep what you have. You can lower it down to something that's affordable for you, and so that it can last for the rest of your life, so it doesn't run out on you. That part that they don't tell you about when they talk about term and investor difference, it doesn't run out on you. So these are things that we can do. So do not dismiss when you hear us as, oh, I already got an insurance policy. What kind of insurance policy do you have? Do you have to die to use it?
Oh,
Are you paying the right amount of money? Are you getting the benefits you deserve? Now I sound like a TV commercial.
Oh
Are
God,
you
now
getting the
let's reel it back
benefits
in
you
because it's
deserve?
9:26, guys, and we,
we got
we
four
gotta keep,
minutes.
we gotta keep to our time. But the thing is that we're gonna circle it back because we started this conversation last week talking about ramen or riches. Even though Carmen says ramen, I don't know who
Ramen.
Raymond is, but ramen or riches, it was ramen. It was ramen
Ramen,
when I went to
ramen,
college.
whatever.
But ramen or riches in retirement, this really is about: do you have a full plan for your retirement? And you run the little calculators at work and you look and it says you are 5% at your plan. And you're like, bump it. I'm not going to be able to figure it out. But you got to figure out something, right? And that
Mhm.
doesn't mean work yourself to death to figure it out. That doesn't mean spin your wheels and worry and stress. That means get with a professional who can help you to start to plan and put together some things and put some things in place to move you forward. In the chat, a couple of people posted you should have a review annually. Have you had a financial review annually? Have you reviewed whatever insurances that you have? Have you reviewed what you're actually doing in those retirement plans or whatever it is that you have? Have you gone to ssa.gov and pulled down the report to see what you're going to get anyway, right? Even though the market has been overstimulated, that's a whole nother live, right? We can talk about how we got overstimulated and inflation's out of control. But the thing is have you done those things, right? And we outside. Let me tell you, we are all the way outside. If one more person, it's bumper to bumper outside on the roads. I don't know how it is where you ladies are in the other four corners of the
Nope.
world, but
Same.
it's bumper to bumper outside. Everybody's outside. They might as well be riding down the street, hanging out their sunroofs while they drive. This is how outside we are, right? Don't spend all your money outside because you're gonna need some for retirement. Now, and I'm not one to say don't have fun. Go have fun. Go have fun, girl. Go have fun, boy. Make it happen, right?
Plan it though.
But
Plan it.
have some plans, have some things in place, and have some vehicles. This is one thing that I think is a joke, and I'm gonna stop after I say this. Um, the new thing is manifesting, right? And I have a whole vision and
That's
manifestation
not a
journal.
new
You can
thing, girl.
download it for
That's
free, right? So now everybody's manifesting. That's the word that they're using. But here's the thing: if you have no vehicle for God to move on your behalf to create additional money for you or bring additional money to you, then how will you ever gain it, right? One of my good friends, that that I talk to, Ali, he has a channel too. He talks about when you're going out and you're manifesting things and you're expecting God to rain down on you, right? Or whatever your religious beliefs are, right? What are you doing? Do you have a job that will allow you to generate that money? Or do you have a second job that will generate the money? Do you have a business? Do you have a skill or gift that you're using to leverage that will generate that money? It's kind of like manifesting these days. It's like, I hope I win the lottery, but you never buy a ticket. And that's what people are doing these days with manifesting. I'm just gonna pray, and I'm gonna meditate, or I'm gonna or whatever whatever your thing is, however you do it. You can't just sit there and believe that it's gonna happen and never take action and do
There you
anything. And
go.
Jackie, I see you, Jackie. That's one of my friends. And Jackie said it. What action are you taking? What are you? What lanes have you opened up that says, okay, God, I'm ready to receive. I'm gonna go out here and I'm gonna grind it out, and I'm gonna do everything I can in my power so that these things can start to come to me, and let the compound effect, because the compound effect works in our lives too, not just in money. It's kind of like going to the gym 30 times. It might not be until the 40th time you see results, but you got to do these things that are going to compound over time
There
to
you
help
go.
you to bring
Good
these things into
example.
your life. And it's a whole book. Well, I'm talking about another book we're not getting affiliate marketing for, but it's a whole book about the compound effect. But those things really matter. What are the avenues, right? And so this life insurance vehicle is just like that. It's a vehicle that's going to help you to generate wealth for you, protection for you, and even create some things downstream, because in other communities, they're not just planning for themselves, they're planning for them, their kids, their grandkids, and their great grandkids. And you planning for Saturday night. That's what I'm
Yeah.
talking
Oh my
about.
goodness. That was good.
I talk dirty, so this is what we're gonna do. I don't have no cut cards. We're gonna just
Oh my gosh, Joel. Let's get back to it's time for us to get off. Yes, Jackie, we are all independent agents. Um, but let's just do a quick outro and be out because we promised that we would stick to an hour. We're right at 101 right now. So let's go.
I'm Shalonda Kaiser Mitchell. I
I,
am the money queen. I put a nice little statistic in the chat because I want everybody to be able to go back and look at that. And I can be found on ShalondaKaiserMitchell.com and all social media networks with Shalonda Kaiser Mitchell.
I'll go next. Aaliyah Sherrod. I am the healthcare queen, and you can reach me at aaliyah10k.com. And I'm here to serve, I'm here to help. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
and I am your girl, Saran Baker, also known as the Debt Elimination Queen. Listen, I can help you get out of that debt in 9 years or less, create a legacy, and I just talk straight talk. I'm here to help. You can reach me at saran10k.com, where we could just really get down and dirty about what it is that the thing is you want to do with your money and how we can get you there. At the end of the day, it's all about you.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. And I'm Carmen Bernard. You can reach me at carmen10k.com. We are here every Thursday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Please like our Millionaire Ladies Mob page. Click on our group to be a part of our group. And please follow us on YouTube as we continue to try to get this education out to the community. Thanks again and have a wonderful day.
Wonderful. Bye, everybody.
Bye bye.
Bye.